lovely humans, and welcome to Kelly True Thoughts. I'm really excited to start this because I am starting the new formatting of my videos tonight. Just a heads up, in all of these videos, you will always find a candle burning and a coffee in hand because coffee and candles are kind of my vice. I think there could be worse vices, so we'll roll with that. So let's start off with our topic. I have a few close friends who have reached out to me and have asked me advice on what to do when we kind of feel like nothing is really happening in our lives and we feel kind of bored, kind of at a standstill. I feel that life can become kind of monotonous very quickly because in this society, unfortunately, we can't just be creating and exploring and doing anything we want all the time. In an ideal world, yes, but you know, this is planet Earth and this is how it works. The first thing I want to mention about this topic is that it's natural to feel bored at times, to feel like things are just kind of stagnant, and to kind of feel like there's a bit of an emptiness because of that. I always like to feel like I'm accomplishing something, and when I feel like my life is just kind of the same thing day after day after day, I tend to get down on myself. I think we've all experienced the nightly Netflix binge, kind of escaping into that sort of a world type deal. It's kind of easy to fall into a hole of just indulging yourself in TV and media. I myself have gone through periods of time where I just would get absorbed in a show, and when I'm bored, I would think, well, I might as well just watch Netflix, because, like, what else am I gonna do? And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's totally natural, but after a while, I feel like it could put you in kind of a place where you do your daily activity, whether it be work or school or taking care of your family, and then you just kind of drown out everything into something that doesn't really light you up. How can we get out of that? How can we get out of that hole? I know that when I don't have a lot going on at night, my brain tends to go insane, and that's probably why I have insomnia. Actually, it's also probably because I'm drinking coffee at 10 o'clock at night. That might have something to do with it, so yeah. Probably shouldn't drink the coffee. I'm still gonna drink the coffee. But one way that I've found that I've gotten myself out of the whole boring, monotonous hole, I would kind of make myself, sometimes even force myself, because it's hard to get out of those lazy habits. I would make myself do an activity that brings me inner joy that's unique to me. Now, these kind of activities are probably going to be different and vary from person to person, because we're all different. We all have different things that make us excited to be alive and to be ourselves. But I think stepping out of that comfort zone and kind of, even if you don't feel like it, making yourself do something, whether it's something new or an old hobby you haven't visited in a while, is a great way to pick yourself out of that. Your life doesn't have to feel empty or monotonous if you fill it with content and with activities and with things that make you think in new ways and make you feel things that you usually don't feel going through the daily grind. For me, I'll sit at my keyboard and play music for a half hour, write some music. I'll make these videos, which I feel passionately about. And it's hard because at the end of the day, we're tired. When we have free time, we kind of just want to lay around. But I always feel better even if I know it's hard to initially push myself to work on a project. At the end of the day, I feel like I accomplished something, and I just feel good that I did something new. I didn't do the same thing that I always do. I pushed myself out of my box, and I feel like that's what life is about. It's about constantly getting out of our boxes. Take a blank piece of paper and a pen and some markers and just kind of doodle while you're listening to music and see what happens. I'm kind of being biased because I'm an artsy person, so I feel more drawn to that. But I just find it to be really therapeutic and a way to help your mind explore and get out of your head. I think it's really important, honestly, even though I would suggest social interaction and meeting with friends, which is great because I think talking with another human about things going on is the healthiest thing ever, because who else is going to understand it better than another human? I mean, come on. I think having those solo activities and those things you can turn to instead of just watching TV every night or doing the same thing every night, having like a wide variety of activities is a great way to feel comfortable with being by yourself. There's nothing wrong with having me time. I love my me time. I kind of need my me time. When you could learn to be comfortable sitting alone with yourself and doing things that make yourself happy by yourself without approval or feedback from anybody else, It's just a great way to stay positive-minded, to keep your brain working, and to stay in a good place. It sounds lame, but like, there's nothing wrong with hanging out with yourself. If anything, you're a bigger person for being able to be okay with that, and being able to be accepting of that, and being able to make peace with that and find comfort in that. I would suggest activities. I would suggest playing some music, getting a blank piece of paper, drawing on it and seeing what happens. I would suggest maybe reading a new book if you don't read a lot. I would suggest taking a brisk walk outside, maybe playing music, maybe even just singing, even if you're horrible at singing for fun. Not doing the same activity you always do when you're bored, but doing a new activity by yourself. And thinking, hey, I pushed myself today. I might have learned something new about myself. But I want you guys to know that if you ever feel bored or empty or like you need ideas or something to do to get yourself out of that place, to stop yourself from having those negative thoughts, shoot me a message. Shoot me a message on my page. It's www.facebook.com/KellyTrueThoughts, or even just comment on my YouTube video or direct message me and I will give you ideas. Tell me your situation. I can help you out. I want to do that. That's why I'm making these videos. So always know you're not alone. If you're bored, you could find ways to stimulate your brain in healthy ways to take yourself out of that. And you've got a friend right here who can help you. So you're never stuck. Okay, so now for the fun part of the video, mood or review. And I'm going to always have a special guest with me. So today I have Joy from Inside Out. Oh my god, I should have definitely reviewed Inside Out. Why didn't I think to do that? Okay, that's gonna happen for the next video probably because I am obsessed with that movie. It's a problem. I have received a request to review a certain TV show, so I'm going to do that because I listen to you guys first and foremost. I was actually thinking of doing a review on Breaking Bad because I just finished watching that with my father and sister. Maybe for a future video I'll do a more in-depth review, but I will just say the ending, oh my god. Literally, it was like panic attacks all around. Like, I was like this the whole time, just like sitting in my living room, just covering my mouth. It's just, the writing is brilliant, the acting is out of this world. It should have won all those Emmys. It was more than deserving of it. I know I'm a little late on the bandwagon, but Breaking Bad is a groundbreaking series. It's amazing. I would suggest it to anybody. But what I'm going to review today is something of a very different flavor, a sitcom called Two Broke Girls. I'm a little bit out of the loop with this because this was a series that I watched maybe a year ago and I binged the entire thing. I was that addicted. It's very lighthearted, it's very funny. It didn't get the best reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but I mean, if you're one of those people that bases all your opinions on things off of what you read online, I mean, like, don't give it a chance, I guess. But I mean, I give everything a chance regardless of what other people say about them, so I make my own opinions for myself. So, in my opinion, it's a really good show. My good friend told me to watch it. I was really addicted for a while. I'm gonna cheat to talk about the characters by looking at my phone because it's been a while, but it's about two girls, one girl named Max and another girl named Caroline, who are low on money in their 20s. I think we can all kind of relate to that. And they both end up working together at a diner. Max is kind of this street smart, I've been there, done that kind of girl. And Caroline is actually, she was a very, very wealthy, I believe she was an heiress possibly, kind of like a Hilton sister vibe with her, who lost all of her money and has to work for the first time in her entire life. So pairing her up with a girl like Max, who's been providing for herself forever, it's a very unlikely combination. And as you can probably already guess, the jokes come from their dynamic together because they're so different. Kat Dennings, who plays Max, is hilarious. I mean, she's a very strong feminist character, I believe. Just, she says what's on her mind. She is just, the air about her is different than most female characters I've seen on TV, even the sassy ones. Like, you're just rooting for Max the whole time. And Caroline, in the beginning, she's a little bit unlikable because she's just the typical rich girl, kind of whiny, and you're kind of just thinking, oh my god, like, Max is gonna probably kill her. Like, how is this ever gonna work? But as the series progresses, her character development is actually really natural, and you see her kind of grow as a person and change a little bit. It doesn't feel fake. You see the characters grow from their experiences, and it really isn't based on so much of the romance happening in these young women's lives. It's based on their relationship, and it always comes down to their relationship together as girlfriends, which I think is cool. I feel like that doesn't happen in a lot of TV shows. I feel like love interests usually get in the way and kind of dictate where the female characters go, but the core of this show is really the relationship and friendship between these two women, and I think that's really cool. The side characters are awesome. There's Oleg, who is the chef at the diner. He's hilarious, a little bit of a dirty mind, but you grow to love him. Jennifer Coolidge actually comes in and plays a character named Sophie. I don't want to spoil a lot about her, but she is one of the highlights of the show. She's amazing. And Matthew Moy plays Han Lee, who is their boss. He is just an amazing character. That's all I'm gonna say. He's hilarious. I wouldn't say it's as good as New Girl, which I would love to do a review on because that show's amazing. But it's similar in the fact that you find yourself rooting for and falling in love with the characters, and the situations are ridiculous, but yet relatable. They're not so over the top where you're just sitting there rolling your eyes like, what? The girls actually deal with things that we're all going through in our, 20s through 30s, I guess, trying to figure out life, trying to be self-sufficient, and it's relatable. It's honestly really relatable, and I would suggest Two Broke Girls to anybody, men or women. It's not an overly girly show. The comedy is really well written, it's really quick-witted, and I think it's a great show. So that is my review for Two Broke Girls. I told another friend that I was going to do a food review. He asked me to review some Chinese food. I don't know, Joy, do you like Chinese food? I feel like Joy would love sweet and sour chicken. She'd be like all over that. She'd be like, yeah. No, she would probably like the fortune cookies the best. And totally believe in them. I actually used to believe in fortune cookies. Most of the time I feel like they kind of just make you feel bad about yourself. Like they're just like, you should be doing this better in life. And you read it and you're like, screw you, fortune cookie. Like what the hell? And then you think about it and you're like, oh my god, the fortune cookie was right. Unfortunately, I don't really eat meat. I'm a pescatarian, so that means that I eat fish and seafood, but I don't eat chicken or steak or beef or anything like that. So instead of doing a review on Chinese food, which I would have totally done, but I did not have time to run out to a restaurant and try something new tonight, I'm gonna look up vegetarian and pescatarian Japanese and Chinese recipes, and I'm going to try to make something and try it, and I will give a review of it. I've never made anything like that before, but I am up for the challenge, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay guys, so now for the direct answer portion of my video. I had one of you reach out to me and ask me to talk about how I deal with disappointment. I actually touched on this in another video that I made in the Kelly's Kitchen series when I make my original hummus, but I didn't talk about it in great length, so I would love to talk about it now. There's been so many times in my life where I've been disappointed. And it's the worst feeling in the world. Your heart is set on something and you imagine something going in a certain way and all the signs are there and everything's leading up to it working out, and then all of a sudden it's just like that bomb hits and it's not what you thought it was going to be. But one thing to remember first and foremost is that even though when you're really disappointed, you might feel alone in that and you might feel sad and down on yourself, you might feel mopey and you might think, why does this have to be happening to me? I'm telling you, 100%, everyone on the planet gets disappointed. And everyone on the planet probably gets disappointed more than you know, because most of us don't talk about it. We don't want to talk about our disappointments, we want to talk about our accomplishments. I've worked really hard for things and have lost them. I've had a lot of people disappoint me, and that's even worse of a feeling, because then it's not only just a circumstance, it's a personal relationship hurting you. So how do we deal with when we feel disappointed? I know in my videos I'm always talking about positivity and being a positive person and seeing the bright side of things and finding the things that light you up. It's hard to do that all the time. But honestly, when you are in a situation where you feel deeply disappointed, that is the time to kind of reprogram your brain to think in a different way. Even though one thing might not work out and you might feel disappointed right now, there are so many opportunities and so many other experiences you're gonna have. I don't want to say I believe in fate, but to a degree I do kind of believe in fate. I do think that certain things come into our lives when they're supposed to come into our lives. There's no shame in feeling disappointed. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you alone. You're not at fault for feeling that way. And take as much time as you want. Take as much time as you want to work through your disappointment, because it is a crappy feeling. But after you take that period to accept it and digest it, realize that it doesn't mean you're not going to have other opportunities. It doesn't mean that more things that make you super excited aren't going to come into your life, because I promise you they are. They just haven't happened yet, and they're going to happen. Just because one thing doesn't work out, maybe the reason it didn't work out is because there's something bigger and better coming your way. There's something more right for you at this point in time. accept the feeling of disappointment, be okay with accepting it, and then realize that it's okay to move on from it. And no matter how much time you need to take move on, take that time. Don't rush yourself. I mentioned this a lot in other videos too, that sitting with sadness and hurt is a healthy thing. Working through that hurt instead of pushing it aside and pushing it down and acting like it didn't happen, that is the worst way to go about things. Trust me, I've done that for a long time and it doesn't solve anything. Give yourself the time to adjust and to accept, and then realize, you know what? Something else was supposed to come my way, and something else is going to, and I don't know when, but it will, and that's the excitement of it. The other important thing to mention about disappointing situations is that they're very temporary things, but I promise you it's going to pass. Disappointment is a very temporary emotion. It's something that happens that we kind of have to, it's a hurdle we have to jump over. That's all it is. It's a hurdle we have to jump over, and once we jump over it, it's on to the next hurdle. The more we get used to learning how to deal with that disappointment and thinking about it in a way that it wasn't meant to be, but something better is going to come along the way, you'll notice that those things do happen. I've seen it happen for friends. I've had it happen to me. It's something that isn't as scary and isn't as big as it has to feel, and you'll work through it, and something better is going to come your way. I promise you that. But I want to thank all of you guys for reaching out to me and to hear feedback from you guys. That's all I've ever wanted, and I'm so pumped. So please keep reaching out to me, keep talking to me. Remember, you could send me a message anytime you want. I have the link to my page under this video. I'm always here to listen. I'm always here to talk. Please keep giving me topics and ideas because I want this to be interactive. Thank you so much for all of you who reached out. I really hope that I helped you or made you smile or made you feel less alone, whatever. I hope I connected with some of you, and that's it for Kelly True Thoughts for this week. I'll be back next week. I can't wait to talk more with you guys. Have a lovely week, guys. See you later, lovely humans.